Apple just announced some crazy news. They introduced a whole new line, all new Mac Studio and Mac Studio Display. This is pretty crazy. So the Mac Studio is sort of like an old Mac Mini, but it's new, and you can get the new M1 Ultra chip installed inside of it, which is essentially just two M1 Maxes glued together for absolute insane power. So I don't know what to do with my money now. I was gonna buy a MacBook Pro. Now I kind of in a pickle now. What am I gonna do? Let's go to this Mac. Let's exit this really quick. So first thing I do when I'm on Apple Store, I instantly go down to the bottom. I go to Apple and Education, because we're gonna get that education pricing. You don't even have to be going to school. They have no way of telling. Like, do this right here. It's a little hack. You get cheaper discounts. Everything's a little cheaper when you're upgrading your computer. So we'll just say we're a college student, and we'll scroll down to the bottom, and we want to shop, save on the next Mac or iPad. We want to go to that. So we got all these options. We got the MacBook Air, Pro, iMac, Mac Mini, Mac Studio, and then they got the new Studio Display. So you see the price difference between the Pro display, XDR, and the Studio display. It's like the same thing, but the Studio display is just a little smaller, and like the price is, like, you can tell which one you want to buy. It's clearly the Studio display. It's brand new. It's gonna work very well for the new Mac Studio like computer system. So you can upgrade the glass on it. You can do a different type of texture glass for like glare resistance if you have certain lighting in your room. You can get different mounts for it. You know, Apple with their pricing, they try to milk as much money as they can out of you with stupid stuff like this, but it's okay. We're gonna give them our money. So let's go back to the Macs. So the Mac Studio is what I want to focus on today. This is something I'm thinking about buying myself. I was in the market for a MacBook Pro, but looking at the specs on this thing, it's adding up to a better deal for myself. So let's just take a look. So you can see with the student pricing is $17.99 for the M1 Max chip, and then for the M1 Max, or for the M1 Ultra, sorry, there's so many names. For the M1 Ultra, you get 20 core CPU, 48 GPU, 32 core neural engine, sorry. That's gonna be about $3,600. So you can see the M1 Ultra is two Maxes together, so you can see it's just double the price, which would make sense. So let's just go on to the big juicy one first, the M1 Ultra, and let's just see how much this thing can cost if we max it out completely. So let's go with the 32 core or the 64 core GPU. We're gonna get the 128 unified memory, and then we get the 8 terabytes of storage, and then I'm probably gonna want to get the Pro Apps bundle, so I get Final Cut and Logic Pro and all the other good stuff for way better price than you would buy it separately. And that's coming in around seven and a half grand. So it's a big chunk of money. It's a big chunk of money, but if you were to buy the Mac Pro, that thing can be like 25 grand. So this is like almost like a better deal. This thing's more powerful than that thing, which is kind of crazy, and that thing's huge, but it's insane. Personally, I'm not gonna buy this one. This one's way out of my price range, but this one, in my opinion, is a really good deal. I'm gonna do a little comparison between the MacBook Pro and this one. The reason why I like this one so much is because you get the M1 Max chip already in it, so you don't get the M1 Pro chip. I'd probably go with the 32 core GPU, and then you'd want to get 64 gigabytes of RAM, and then I would just probably get a terabyte, and then that you got a computer for under 3 grand. Well, 3 grand with tax and Apple Care. You could even go 32 gigabytes of RAM. 64 might be a little overkill. Like, to me, that is an insane price right there. That is if you already have a monitor, because I already have a monitor that I have set up right now. If you don't have a monitor, you might want to go with a MacBook, or you could buy this and then get the new studio monitor. That would work as well. So you can see it's about $2,400, probably $2,800 with tax. Let me show you the MacBook Pro now. So I really wanted this computer at first before this came out. So I probably just would have went with the 14-inch to get the Pro chip, and then I would have went with this, I believe this one, and then 32 gigabytes of RAM, terabyte of storage, and then the Pro apps bundle. That's what I was looking at. So you can see that's already more expensive than the Mac Studio. And it only has the Pro chip and it doesn't have the Max chip. So that's why I'm thinking about getting the Studio over the MacBook Pro, because it's cheaper and you get the Max chip, so it's going to be even faster. But I lose that portability, so that's the only downfall. The other downfall to making music and upgrading computers is that their software update Monterey is not going to be it's not going to be working with all your plugins. And I believe there's a website actually you can go to see which plugins are working with the current Apple update. But you just got to be careful when you're upgrading computers, because you could be essentially screwed out of all your plugins for a little while if you're not aware of which ones are up to date with Apple's software. That's my take on this new Apple product here. I think it's super cool. I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of power in one machine. So thank you for watching this video. Go subscribe, go comment what you think below. I want to hear your thoughts, what I should get, what you should get, what you want. See you in the next video.